Every now and then, old Jason Ipfor likes to remind people about the Roman Empire and the similarities between us now, the U.S., which is the New Age Roman Empire. We are the superpower currently. We won't be, as much as I don't want to say that. And let me give you my little disclaimer right up front. I live in America. I want the America that I was taught about in school. I want other countries to be jealous and envious of us, whatever, so that we can bring good change to their system and allow them to be like our system. But upon thinking about that and realizing that's not possible, number one, the United States uses 25% or so of the entire world's output, so to speak. Then you can't have other countries doing the same thing as you. It only take, 3 more countries to do what you do, and then the entire output of the world is gone. So that wouldn't happen. So, again, I have to punch myself sometimes with a little bit of reality. Number one, I live here. I don't want bad things to happen here. I want my country to be prosperous. I want people to live great lives. I want other countries to be envious of us, again, for good change for those countries for us to be the model of them, for them to, be after, try to get like us or whatever. Having said that, all the research I've done over the years, I realize everything we're told is a lie. Everybody that's at the top, these big banks, the big giant conglomerate companies, they're all frauds, they're all lies, they all cook their books, accounting fraud, everything's a lie. Everything I've been told about my country, the way we do things, it's a lie. And I'm having to deal with it. So I do YouTube videos to let other people know about it. So I did a video a while back about the Roman Empire and how they had the same main problem that took them down that we have, and it's called unfunded liabilities. I think you already know what that means. Unfunded liabilities. You owe $10,000 a month, but your income's only $4,000 a month. See a problem? That's just a very basic example. So I found an interesting article here from a website, opinion-maker-maker.org. I'll link to it. 8 striking parallels between the U.S. today and the ancient Roman Empire. I kind of browsed. I didn't even read all of it. I just browsed through, saw some little topics. I got to read this. I'm going to read it. I'll do it live. I'll scroll down and I'll look at it and I'll do it live. Freaking thing sucks. Oh, sorry about that. A little Bill O'Reilly was channeled there. Okay. Is our republic coming to an unceremonious end? History may not be on America's side. Lawrence Lessig's Republic Lost documents the corrosive effect of money on our political process. Lessig persuasively makes the case that we are witnessing the loss of our Republican form of government, as politicians increasingly represent those who fund their campaigns rather than our citizens, which is what they were hired to do. And we allow them to give themselves great raises, great salaries, great retirement, unbelievable health care. Not good enough. Not good enough. We need more. We need more. That's what they're saying in Congress. We need more. And that's what the people of the Parliament of Rome said when they were in power. The Senate, the powerful Senate. Wow. Anthony Everett's Rise of Rome is a fascinating history and a great read. It tells the story of ancient Rome from its founding to the fall of the Roman Empire. When read together, striking parallels emerge between our failings and the failings that destroyed the Roman Republic. And let me stop for us. Let me just finish this. As with Rome, just before the Republic's fall, America has seen the following. But before I go there, it talks about the loss. The first paragraph I read said, we are witnessing the loss of our Republican form, which I should say republic form of government. I also did a video and quoted even Plato, where he talked about the different forms of government that come up. It's like a cycle over and over and over, and there's 3 main types of government, and each of the 3 main types of government have like 2, maybe 3 subtypes of governments. And one of those, I think, subtypes of governments was a democracy. And that was like the last phase until you go into the cycle again. And I did a video on that. So if you want to see it, just search YouTube for, just search YouTube. JSNIP for cycles of government. Let me just make sure that's the right thing to search for. JSNIP for cycles of government. Cycles of, yeah, first one that comes up. It's sad, 2,690 views. Such a good read too, man. I'm really proud of that video. It's very important, but it is what it is. So, as with Rome just before the Republic's fall, America has seen, number one, staggering increase in the cost of elections with dubious campaign funding sources. And don't tell me that 2012 was not the highest, most expensive election you ever saw in your life. The numbers, even mainstream, are quoting. Astounding. Our 2012 election reportedly cost $3 billion. All of it was raised from private sources, often creating the appearance or the reality that our leaders are beholden to special interest groups. During the late Roman Republic, elections became staggeringly expensive with equally deplorable results. Caesar reportedly borrowed so heavily for one political campaign, he feared he would be ruined if not elected. Number two, politics as the road to personal wealth. During the late Roman Republic period, one of the main roads to wealth was holding public office. You ever hear about these congressmen that don't have hardly any money or just average, whatever? They become a congressman or a senator, and by the time they leave office, they are multi-millionaires, even if it's just a few years in office? Yeah, let me start that sentence over again. During the late Roman Republic period, one of the main roads to wealth was holding office, public office, and exploiting such positions to accumulate personal wealth. As Lessig notes, congressmen, senators, and their staffs leverage their government service to move to private sector positions that pay 3 to 10 times their government compensation. Let's not even forget about campaign contributions. Given this financial arrangement, their focus is therefore not so much on the people who sent them to Washington. Their focus is instead on those who will make them rich. Would you disagree with anything I've said so far? I know your answer is no. So if any of you clowns out there who give me the thumbs down, I always get 1, 2, 3 of them per video, no matter what I talk about. Do you really want to give me a thumbs down on this? Go ahead if you have to. You must hate me for some reason. Number 3, continuous war. A national state of security arises. Continuous war. A national state of security arises, distracting attention from domestic challenges with foreign wars. Does that sound familiar right now? Similar to the late Roman Republic, the U.S., for the past 100 years, has either been fighting a war, recovering from a war, or preparing for a new war. We have World War I, we had World War II, we had the Cold War, we had the Korean War, we had the Vietnam War, we had the Gulf War, we had the Afghanistan and ongoing, etc. Iraq from 2011 to 2011, etc., etc., etc. We're getting involved in Libya, we're getting involved in Syria. You see where this is going, and you see how the distance between those big wars are like smaller, 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 shorter, shorter, shorter. That's because the cycle of government's fixing to change. And by the way, if you go look at my other video I just told you about, every time there's a change in the cycle of government, it was always through brutal civil unrest and war. Not through hope and change and let me stand in the corner and wishful thinking. No. Number 4, foreign powers lavish money and attention on the Republic's leaders. Foreign powers, like multinational companies, corporations, multinational bankers, and those families. So, got some kids knocking on the door. Dog always barks. Dog doesn't understand Jason Ford got important videos to do sometimes. He doesn't understand that. Foreign powers lavish money/attention on the republic's leaders. Foreign wars lead to growing influence by foreign powers and interests on the republic's political leaders. True for Rome and true for us today. In the past century, foreign embassies, agents, and lobbyists have proliferated in our nation's capital. As one specific example, a foreign businessman donated $100 million to Bill Clinton's various activities. Clinton opened the doors for him and sometimes acted in ways contrary to stated American interests and foreign policies. Number 5, profits made overseas shape the republic's internal policies. As the fortunes of Rome's aristocracy increasingly derived from foreign lands, Roman policy was shaped to facilitate these fortunes. American billionaires and corporations increasingly influence our elections. Would you agree or disagree? In many cases, they are only nominally American, with interests not aligned with those of the American public. For example, Fox News is part of international media group News Corp, with over $30 billion in revenues worldwide. Is Fox News jingoism a product of News Corp's non-U.S. interest? So is Fox News jingoism a product of News Corp's non-U.S. interests? You be the judge. That's one simple example. Number 6, collapse of the middle class. Where have we been hearing that in recent times? In the period just before the Roman Republic's fall, the Roman middle class was crushed. Destroyed by cheap overseas slave labor. Cheap overseas slave labor. What does that mean? I haven't heard of that. I mean, not today. I mean, China sweatshop, India sweatshop, everything you pick up and look over, made in China, made in China, made in China, made in China. Cheap labor forces in China. Slave labor. Oh, that's right. We have that right now. It's happening right now. And in the last several years, that's been like the big boom. So maybe we're a little bit closer to the Republic's fall than we think. So let me go ahead and read the full thing there. In the period just before the Roman Republic's fall, the Roman middle class was crushed, destroyed by cheap overseas slave labor. In our own day, we've witnessed rising income inequality, a stagnating middle class, and the loss of American jobs to overseas workers who are paid less and have fewer rights. iPad, Apple, toys, everything, slave labor. While Apple posts these enormous profits and the stock skyrockets and comes down and skyrockets again. Thanks, Chinese slave labor. Thanks, Indian slave labor. United States is going down the tubes, and as much as it hates you to, well, if you don't like it, leave the country. Chasing it for, if you don't like it, leave the country. You're going to probably be begging to leave the country. See, I have made preparations to deal with this. And the number one preparation is buying physical gold and silver. And again, I am a silver guy. I am all in on silver. I don't have any gold anymore. I traded that in or sold it and then bought silver with it. And when you can buy a massive piece of land, a house, something of great value with a few coins or a little bit of coins, that'll be the day you realize, uh-oh, now what are you going to do? That'll be the day you sit there and say, all those times I used to tell people, if you don't like it, get out of the country. All the times I stood up for my country and my beliefs, and now you're destitute. Now you're that poor middle class that's no longer middle class. You're down there waiting for Obama, voting for the next Roman emperor who promises the most to you. Free EBT cards, free Obama cell phones, free food, feed everything. Just vote me into office. That's how the Roman Empire collapsed, and I mentioned it in my other video. I talked about in the not the cycles of government, but the unfunded liabilities video about the Roman Empire. So number 7, and we have looks like one more after that. Gerrymandering, or is that gerrymandering? Gerrymandering. Rome's late republic used various methods to reduce the power of common citizens. The GOP, he mentioned specifically, that would be the Republicans, in case anyone doesn't know what that word means. The GOP, which, by the way, stands for the Grand Old Party. Grand. Yeah, me too. The GOP has so effectively gerrymandered congressional districts that even though House Republican candidates received only about 48% of the popular vote in the 2012 election, they ended up with the majority, 53% of the seats. Number 8, loss of the spirit of compromise. The Roman Republic, like ours, relied on a system of checks and balances. Compromise is needed for this type of system to function. In the end, the Roman Republic lost that spirit of compromise, with politics increasingly polarized between optimates, which is the rich, entrenched elites, and populares, the common people. Sound familiar? Compromise is in noticeably short supply in our own time. For example, quote, there were more filibusters between 2009 and 2010 than there were in the 1950s, 1960s, and 1970s combined. As Benjamin Franklin observed, we have a republic, but only if we can keep it. Very good article. I'm going to go ahead and give that a little, out of 10 stars, I'm going to give it 10 stars. So that was 8 striking parallels between the U.S. and the Roman Empire. This is true. Again, before you get upset or mad or even tell me to get out of the country if you don't like it. Everything is a cycle. And if you go listen to my video again about the cycles of government. And if that's true, and it is, because it's just showing you history, here's where it happened here, here's where it happened there, here's where it happened, then it's a cycle. It's no different than me planting a seed, watering the seed, watching it sprout, watching it grow into a beautiful flower, wilts off, dies, have a nice day. Another seed somewhere, same thing happens. It's a cycle. The only difference is with a flower, you could literally stand out there, if you had the time, obviously, watch when you planted it, watch when it starts to sprout. I mean, you could document that in a matter of weeks. If you plant it right as spring is about to start or whatever, that thing will be up and blooming in no time. Let's just say in 3 or 4 weeks, it's done. It's up, ready to go. You can't sit here as a human being and say, let me step back here for 3 or 4 weeks or even a month or 6 months or whatever and watch a country go from some type of form of government to another and then back down. And it takes so long, you're going to be dead by the time it concludes. You'll only be a part of one of the cycles. You will be alive during one of the part of the cycles. So that's why history is so important to have and keep and study. Because if you never had it, you wouldn't know it was there. So somewhere along the line, someone obviously decided we need to record things. And by the way, the Roman people, the whole society, were great at recording history. That is why we know so much today about them. They're probably the best, as far as I know, as far as what we can find now that depict what they used to do and everything. That's why we know all these things. So, again, rather than get all pissed off or whatever, I mean, and you do have the right to get pissed off, obviously, because this whole country, I mean, the people at the top, the ones that are taking us down, the congressmen, the senators, these people, these pigs, that's who does this. But again, it's just a cycle. So it's almost as if we're in a movie. That's their script. They're just playing their script. I'm playing my script as a guy on YouTube telling other people about it. That isn't going to change anything because the script is the script. It's already written. That's the cycle. That's the history. It's going to happen, if you will. So while you could get all pissed off, and believe me, people are going to. And people aren't going to be able to cope with this. People aren't going to understand that it's a cycle and it's going to change. And that's how the revolution starts. That's how civil war starts. That's how the fighting will start. And then a new type of government will come. And you can bet your sweet bottom that all these people like this judge dismissed the case on JP Morgan. CFTC, just pay a little fine. SEC, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, you guys have been manipulating billions of dollars. Pay a $200 million fine. All these people that were in charge and allowed that to happen, when the new cycle starts, assuming they're alive, someone's going to be alive that was in charge allowing these. So someone's going to probably pay with their life if history is my guide. And it's not going to be from me. It's not going to be from you doing it. It'll be from the rest of the population who wouldn't dare watch this video right now, who can't even comprehend the crap I'm talking about. Not that it's something that's like way above people's heads. They are not there. They don't even understand their cycles. There's no way in the world to them that this country will change. Our dollar's the greatest. We are the strongest. We have the best military. This is the way it's going to be. Those are the people who will lose it the most. They will lose their wealth the most. They will lose in the game, so to speak, the society game the most. Therefore, they will react to those circumstances the most. While I and you and whoever can hopefully somewhat reasonably, peacefully, and maybe even a little bit of wealth, I'm going to create a new word, wealthily through our silver investments, sit back and just kind of do YouTube videos about what's happening in our country rather than go out there and get right in the middle of it. I'm Jason Hip4. Take care.